Thank you everyone for joining us today in this webinar, which is going to, we are going to approach this topic of how an awesome 5S program can ignite a lean culture. So we have Luciana here. Luciana is a culture coach. She's also a lean and agile expert. She's also an author for some of books about 5S, 5S Your Life, or Organización 5S in Spanish, with culture. So she is joining us today to share with us this experience that she has in all the companies that she has been working with, to share with us these steps to implement the 5S methodology in a sustainable way. So please, Lu, if you would like to introduce yourself, I just want to introduce myself and just comment if you have any question or any comment or something that you would like to share during this presentation, please share it with us in the chat. And at the end, we are going to have some minutes to have a conversation with you, answer some questions and comments. So my name is Michelle Correa. Some of you I already know it, but I'm the leader of customer success team here in Rever. And today is a pleasure to have Luciana here and to have you in this conversation to know a little bit more about 5S and how can we implement this methodology in a successful way. So go ahead, Luciana. Thank you so much. All yours.
Thank you very much, Michelle. It's my pleasure to be here today. 5S is one of the tools that I love the most. So that's why it's great that I have the opportunity to share what I've learned with the implementations that I've done so far. And I also would like to learn about you. What are you doing? What is working for you? So that we can end the day today knowing something else and improving something new this week. Okay, so if you could move on to the next slide, Michelle. Just a little bit about me. As she mentioned, I'm a culture coach, speaker, and author. I'm the founder of Biztorming Training Consulting and the We Culture. I'm member of the American Society of Quality. I've been in the conference recently. If any of you have been there in Anaheim, California, well, maybe you saw me already. I have a master's in business administration. I'm also an ISQ quality engineer, agile coach, and Scrum master. And as I said before, I'm eager to continue learning and implementing cultural change, innovation, and 5S as a way to help employees enjoy where they work all the time, so that everyone is better at doing what they do every single day. So I always share, post, and parts of my book online. So if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, you will continue learning every week. So let's start to talk about 5S and how it is connected with Lean. So some of you or most of you may know that Lean and 5S were born in Japan. After the World War II, Japan wanted to improve the way they were doing businesses. They were very restricted on how they were working. So they started to look for someone to help them improve. So they look for a statistician, which is Edward Deming, who is American, and he travels to Japan to teach them how to improve. So after all these teachings, these companies like Toyota, Nissan, Bridgestone, they take all that knowledge and improve the way they work. And one of the ways to improve is the Toyota production system, or also the lean manufacturing method. And one of the tools used in the lean manufacturing is 5S. So let's go on. What is lean actually? The fundamentals of lean is to eliminate waste that we see every day at work. So one of the acronyms of these 8 waste is downtime for, all the different things that you could, could be a waste for you, like defects, overproduction, waiting for something to happen, having too much inventory, or having to transport things where maybe you could have them more closely. When you move, the way you move, for instance, when you use the tool every day, but you have it far away, you have to go there every time. That's motion, right? And that's also a waste. Also extra processing whenever you are doing something, like for instance, when you give someone a ticket to access I don't know, a restaurant, and you give the ticket with an envelope. Maybe when they just receive the ticket, they will throw away the envelope, right? They will not find any value on the envelope. Yes, on the ticket, but why are we using the envelope, right? That's a waste, and that's extra processing. We're adding steps to the process that really nobody values. So that's part of finding the waste too. And of course, the last one, which is not many people is aware of, that is how much talent is not being used, because how many employees are trying to propose things or think about improvements, and those things are not well communicated, or they are not listened to, and they are not and processes are not improving. So a lot of talent or a lot of information is not being used. So what we're going to do now is say how we can start reducing that waste. And part of that is implementing 5S. 5S is kind of the basics for that. But why? Why do you think we need to improve? Why we need to implement 5S or Lean at all? If any of you want to start commenting, please do. You can do that on the chat, and Michelle will tell me when there's a comment.
Yeah, we have a comment here from Eduardo Muñiz. He said, Liz is just doing the right thing, the right way, in sustainable fashion. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, it's a nice way of putting it, is just doing the right thing the right way. But the problem is, how do we know what is the right thing, right? What is right for the company? And that is part of the culture, right? What is it that we think that our leaders value? And what we've seen lately is that a lot of people is not happy with what their leaders value. So that's why many people are leaving their companies. Have you heard about the resignation, the Great Resignation since last year, when the pandemic kind of started to improve, and we just trying to leave that behind? A lot of people starting to leave their jobs, and the question is why? It's because they are not happy with how they work. Maybe you are seeing this in your company, or maybe you are seeing that in other companies, like your friends, your suppliers, your clients. And this is bad for everyone, because every time someone resigns, that's also a waste of time, a waste in kind of the 8 ways, right? So my proposal here is to create a culture of care, because people are leaving companies because they don't feel like someone cares for them or for their ideas. They need this first thing, this connection with the team members, with the leaders, to feel like their ideas can, get connected, that they can build a community. And this is very important for people to feel happy at work. Then the second step is attention. We're missing that too. We're always focusing on several things at the same time. We're always running, and we don't have time to pay attention to people that see around, or we don't have time to pay attention to little things, little details that we see every time at work. And this will drive quality. Like connection will drive innovation. Then how we are going to drive engagement, which is also something that we're missing, that people are not engaged at work. we need to improve respect. And that's very, very ingrained in 5S. How do you, why are you going to clean? Because someone else is going to come after me. And that's being respectful. Be respectful to things, to take care of your computer or your tools or everything that you're using. That is part of this care culture. And the last thing is to drive agility by empowering people to work, to make decisions, to actually do the things that they consider are more important. So this is part of the behaviors that we want to ingrain in our companies that will drive everyone to be better and to, you know, create better products for our customers too. But this has to be defined intentionally. What I mean is that many times we see this care culture, but this is just a post on the wall, right? It's not something that's really happening. So we need to walk the talk. And this is what we're going to do with 5S, help to implement this culture and make it a reality. So I'm seeing a lot of comments in the chat, Michelle.
Yeah, and those are related to the comment that that you are commenting. For example, Eduardo said that companies need to be fit and equipped to do it. Otherwise, they just pretend. So I think this aligns the intention that the organization and the leaders have to implement this methodology and this new culture across the teams. Pamela said, listening to people, acknowledging them, recognizing their contributions. So I think that is part of the connection, the care, right? They connect to the people, attend their needs, respect their proposals, their implementations, and empower everyone to implement their ideas or their audits and all the things that they need to do to keep their environment in the correct way. And Eduardo, another comment, people can do something they don't know. So I think that is part of the process and all the steps that you are going to share in the following slides. But this is something that you need to train and to have that capabilities of the people, right?
Right. So you're right. This is kind of what's happening in many companies, that we're expecting the leaders to provide all the solutions, right? All the ideas, because that's what we were told to do all the time. Just wait, and the leaders will tell you what to do. But the work culture and the times where we're living today require everyone to be involved. So again, this is not just you, but you know, your leader also telling you, yes, you know, you can talk, you can tell me what's wrong, and I can help you, you know, implement that. So we need to be there to receive the power, right, to do something, to propose, but also they need to give us the power. So it's a kind of what I call the bottom up and top down approach, where everyone is part of changing. Everyone, I always say that change is everyone's job. It's not just the leader's job. So, but how can we make this happen? Huh?
We have a question here.
Yeah.
We have a question here, Lou. I think we can attend this question and we can continue with the slides. Why do you think that after 40 years, despite of the proliferation of lean gurus, still most lean strategies are wrongly deployed and unsustainable?
Yes, great question. And we're going to see something of that today. That's kind of the idea, because that's what I'm going to show you, that all the implementations I've seen with 5S, they've tried several times, and they call me because, you know, this is the second time we try, the third time we try, it's not going anywhere. And there's a lot to do with culture, with this very, very initial part about building something first. You cannot just implement a lean culture from nothing, right? This is the first ground that you have to start. How you can align everyone's behaviors by building respect. Like if you don't have respect for diverse people, or you respect by, as someone mentioned, listening, right? If you don't have that first, there's no way to implement lean, because you're not going to listen to the employees, right? Lean and 5S is about the employees taking the power to do what they think is good. Why? because they work there. They are the ones that know what needs to be better, right? Or what can we do, or what's bothering us. But there needs to be a space, a common behavior from leaders to release them, to empower, to pay attention to your processes, to build this connection. So I think that part of that it's there. We need to focus on the people. A lot of the lean things that I've seen so far are very focused on processes. Okay. So the attention now needs to be focused on people. And I talk a lot about this on the We Culture book that I published. I just published, but you can read more about that. But let's get now to what can we do today. Okay. So to start that nice flow in the direction that we want. All right. So the way I see 5S is, to me, is these 5 steps, but probably you're going to see something different. Usually see sort, store, shine, standardize, and the 5 step as being sustained, right? So the way I see it, my last step is self-organize, because what we're trying to achieve with 5S is not just to sustain people, putting things in the same place or cleaning always the same way. What I really want from 5S is that people become the owners of their work, of their workplace, of their growth. So that's what you're going to get with self-organization. You're going to make every single employee owner of their workspace, so that we don't need a leader to tell us what to do. We already know what needs to happen. If we do that, we can be agile. Remember that we talked about agility on the empowerment in the care? Well, that's what we need to achieve. If we're waiting for someone to tell us what to do, that is creating all these delays. All right. So let's get to know a bit more about this. This is a picture, as many of you mentioned, about 5S implemented as a poster, not as a real thing that we're doing. It's just, oh, we do 5S. But what can you see in the picture? Do you really feel like this place has 5S implemented there? Now, let's go to the next one. If we go to the next slide, we're going to see a place where, to me, maybe you feel it in a different way. You don't have a sign showing this is 5S, but you can feel it. You can see it. These are changes that have really improved the life of the employees, because now you can eat in a better place. This is exactly the same room, okay? The same room, but you don't see boxes, you don't see chairs, you see the right chairs in the right place, the chairs, the more comfortable chairs inside, the blue chairs outside where they should go. You don't see, for instance, the whiteboard is not written. So on the first slide, you just write on the whiteboard and you just leave. On the second one, no. I mean, if you use it, you erase it and you leave everything organized for the next person to attend. All right. So this is how really 5S should be implemented. You should see it. You should realize about that. And that's where you will find the hard benefits, right? You will find that you improve your lead time, that you don't waste so much time looking for things, that you improve your inventory, not only physical inventory, but also the inventory online, right? The space that you use for your documents, for your pictures, you're going to improve that too. You reduce the physical footprint of the floor space required. You reduce the time spent on preparation, like for changeovers. And all of this drives to reducing dramatically the mistakes that you are doing, because you will be more focused. If you look at the pictures before, right? You're more prone to make mistakes in a place that is very disorganized versus the place where everything is clean and organized, and it brings you peace of mind, right?
Yeah, and here is where we can find the 8 ways that we talked before, right? The time, the time consumption, the transportation, the inventory, the rework that we are actually creating because of lack of this order, of this standard in place. So at the end, this is impacting the savings that you can have in your organization, saving time, saving money, and also saving effort for you in your daily operation. So I think these hard benefits and the soft benefits are great examples to internalize this. And why is this important to apply in our organization? Another comment is just a housekeeping problem. A change in the people's mindset is a requirement to make 5S works. Otherwise, it's just a housekeeping effort.
Exactly. Yes, Eduardo, right? This is exactly right. And that's why if we go to the next slide, we're going to see the soft benefits. Because if we're saying, okay, this is just to, have more space or, to clean and look nice, it's not about that. You're also improving employee morale and team working, because everyone starts seeing problems or starts seeing mistakes and feel like, yeah, I can contribute and say, hey, we can do this in a different way, and not feel offended by that. Improve communication, because you don't need to wait for someone to tell you what to do. You're going to see all the instructions, all the directions on how to organize something or when to, get more inventory. Everything will be right there, visually deployed by 5S. You're also having a safer environment. Less stressful. You're gonna have more joy at work. You will even want to invite your family to your work, because you will feel proud of it. And of course, you will have peer responsibilities. You will know what to do at the right time. Everything will be very well defined by you with your 5S system, bringing you more work-life balance. And finally, a culture of self-organization, which is what you're going to strive for, trying to that everyone knows what needs to be done, because everything will be displayed in the workplace. And yes, go to the next slide. So this is, I hope you like it. This is, if you can see it, these are fish, right? This is a school of fish, which are swimming in a flow. And this is something that is seen also in nature, like birds going in the right direction, in the same direction, or bees or termites. And you wonder, how are they so organized? Are they follow a leader? Or do they go to training before doing this? How is this happening, And this is called self-organization. So we're not inventing nothing here. This is already in nature for many years. Self-organization means that these fish are going to follow 3 main steps, and they're going to follow this throughout the entire life. So the first step is they're going to repeat certain patterns over and over and over. For instance, some patterns would be follow their other fish, or be in a certain distance with the other fish so that you don't crash, but so that you don't go very farther either, right? And they follow these patterns throughout all the entire life. The second is that you are going to observe all the time. These fish, they know that they have to observe if there are any threats. They are not going to wait for leader to tell them what's wrong. They're going to wait for their co-workers or their partners or the other fish. Hey, is there something wrong? There's better water here, cold water, hot water, or a threat. And they're going to react based on that. And the third step will be improve. You do something about that threat or that thing that they are observing. So they do these 3 things all the time. And this is the basis of the self-organization that we can drive in our organizations too. So meaning that we're going to repeat all the 5 steps over and over and over until we observe, second step, that there's something that we can improve. Maybe we sense, I'm moving a lot. I'm sensing that, I have a pain here in the back. Maybe there's something wrong that I could improve in the way I see it or in the way I do this work. Or maybe I'm going many times, to this workshop. Maybe I need to change the place where I put my tools, right? So that I don't have to go that many times. And then not just talking about it or sensing, but also the third step, doing something about it and making a real improvement. So if we can do this cycle every time, we will be implementing self-organization. And here is where 5S will help us. Now, probably you already know this, you know the steps of 5S, but it's not working. For some reason, people stop doing 5S. You know, you do the training, they go do something, and then the next day, boom, they do nothing else. So there are 12 steps that I've seen, I've tried, and they have helped or implementations work in the long term. Now, we don't have much time, right? We have only 45 minutes today. So if you want to read about the entire, all these 12 steps, you can go to my 5S Your Life book or the We Culture book. But today we're going to focus on the second, which is how we can motivate people, right, to do these changes. So the first step will be doing training. And let's go to see the next slide, right? What is this training about? Probably, yeah, you are doing training on 5S already. But again, let's go to the details which will make the difference. Training needs to be company-wide. I've seen that many trainings are only for the, you know, the quality expert or maybe for the leaders. No, training has to be company-wide. Everyone needs to understand the basics of 5S. Otherwise, they don't know what's going on. This has to be in every sector. That's why I'm showing here a map. Usually what we do is we make sure that the company is included in a map so that every sector is owned by someone. We need everyone, even security, the entrance, the administration, the operations, the lab, everyone, safety, everyone needs to be involved in 5S, including suppliers. You can train customers, everyone who enters the company. Everyone should be involved on all levels: leadership, the executives, you know, the owners, the CEOs, and the new hires. Everyone should be involved. Then, when you want to do the training, you may want to do an introduction training on what is 5S, but then you have to go and dive deep. So I would say that for deep diving, you would do kind of a pilot test. You just choose one group and start working on site, no test in a PowerPoint, okay? Go to the place where they're working and try to see what's wrong. Try to highlight what you can see that could be improved. Sometimes people have this, blindness. They just see, or they bias. They just see what they do every day and they feel it's fine. Or, well, this is a manufacturing company. This is not an operating room. It shouldn't be clean. But yes, it can and it should be clean because this is where you work. You don't want to work in a place that is dirty, right? But what it takes to make it work for you. So start in a specific place, in a specific group, put all your efforts there so that everyone can see improvements and learn from what has been working and what has not been working. Some groups, for instance, prefer to write things on a paper. Some prefer go to the Rever app and include all those improvements there. See if that really works well. Okay, replicate that in the other teams. But I'm sure that if you start with one team, everyone will see the improvements there and say, well, I want to implement 5S too, right? I also want to be part of this change. So that will make it more likely that people will want to do it. So the other step here that is very, very much important with 5S is communicating and over communicating. Okay, this means that you need to communicate about 5S everywhere in every possible format. Some people are more visual, some people are more audio, they need to listen about it, some people need to read about it, some people need to see it or practice it. So communicate in different ways. So for instance, if you want people to, separate the trash, maybe you can have 5S signs there. Maybe you can have little cards that you give to everyone who enters the company, to know about 5S. Or maybe you do a 5S training, 5 minutes 5S training whenever you have someone entering the company for the first time, just like the same thing that you would do with safety, do with 5S. Maybe like this company, you have a sign with the best practices for meetings, and include the 5S at the end, things like that. But it can be only one day training, one time. It has to be continuous. You know, maybe you can communicate people doing great efforts on 5S, or communicating best practices, or yeah, they have painted in a different certain way, let's do it in other places the same way. Try to make it part of your standardized 5S system, how to communicate it continuously.
And I would like to comment something here, Lu, that this over communication, maybe this is something that is happening since the beginning, that you are implementing the 5S, right? But at the end, when you have, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 months, 6 months with this implemented on site, your people who already have this culture and these new habits, they are going to communicate with the new collaborators that, okay, this is the way that we are performing. This is the way that we are working here. So that over communication, it's something that it will remain there, but it will also be reinforced by the collaborators that are all in that workplace, right? In that sales or in that different departments that they are communicating with the new ones.
Yes, that's right. So that's why we need to go to the next step, which is kind of measuring, monitoring, right? Because if we don't monitor, we just forget about it, we don't communicate it. So we need to communicate what's doing right, what's going wrong, and we can do it with data. Real data with this, for instance, having audits, you know, and showing the results of the audits there. I always suggest that you do external audits, or at least cross audits, you know, different teams auditing other teams, because if you just audit yourself, it's good to have a self-assessment, but usually it's not enough, because again, you have your bias, you see your things with your same eyes, and usually you need someone else from outside to say, hey, maybe you can do this in a different way. So the other day I was doing an audit in a company, and you know, they're having this table full of you know, like 20 tools, and you know, it was full of things that were all dusty, and I say, well, you sure you need all these to work every day? Yes, I use all these tools every day. You're sure? You know, and I keep asking, but you really have to do this. Maybe you use 2 or 3 tools, and maybe no, but I don't want to waste time to go and find the tool somewhere else. Well, maybe you need to find, you know, a push cart where you can find those tools and have it close to you, but you don't need to have everything on the table. Right? That is distracting. You don't know what you need to do. You know what goes next. So you know, someone auditing will help you with that. Usually the audit, I recommend that it has to be monthly and throughout, you know, your entire life. Not just for 1 month or 2 months, but every month. Maybe you can, you know, may increase the cadence, maybe do it every 2 months. Over time, but keep doing it. That's the way you will measure your performance, and that's how you can realize the 5-step, which is maybe there's some people that are behind, or maybe some teams that are behind. What? Yeah, maybe they started later, but you can see on the yellow one, right? The yellow line, they started later, but then boom, they went, you know, they improved faster. What happened here? What's going on with the red ones? And the idea here is not to say, hey, oh, this is the worst group, we have the best group here, let's award the first group, and then the other groups, well, whatever. No, 5S has to be implemented well for everyone. So if we're seeing someone falling behind, we need to help them. Otherwise, you know, they are the ones that are gonna mess up our entire system, because that's how it starts falling, right? Because you see someone not doing something, and then you say, well, if they don't do it, I don't do it either, and that's it. So you need to make sure everyone is involved. How do you do if you're seeing a team that is behind? Try to understand why. Go ask them. Maybe you will find that there's a problem with the leader. Maybe you need to coach the leader. Maybe you need to coach individuals. Maybe there's one person that is kind of the bad apple, you know, trying to not to do this, or maybe they can't. There's a problem with the processes, or maybe they're, you know, they're having some kind of operational issue that you need to work on first. So let's see that. Coach one-on-one. Basically, what we need to work on is making sure that we repeat the same cycle every time. to drive self-organization. And this is what the fish are doing, right? They are repeating these patterns. All the rules that you define with 5S, you need to repeat them no matter what, no matter if you're in a hurry, no matter if you're tired. You define this is the best way, you need to repeat it. But be observant. Try to see if there's something that needs to be changed. Maybe you say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore because I think this is not right. This should be done in a different way. Okay, don't just stop doing it. Do something about it. Observe, do it, and third step, improve it. Propose a change. Change the documentation or share your findings. Do something about it so that you continue improving all the time. If everyone in the team do all these things all the time, do this cycle all the time, this is kind of like the PDCA from Deming. If you've seen it, if you are using ISO 9001, this is the same thing, but even more simple. Just repeat, observe, and improve. This is how you're going to achieve self-organization, because everyone will know why or what they need to do and how they can improve and do something about it.
Yeah, thank you. That's excellent. And yeah, that PDCA flow, that's something that actually in Rever we have as improvement idea flow. When you are, this is a cycle, right? You are repeating, you are planning something that you would like to implement. You can experiment some things because maybe when you are starting with 5S, you are experimenting. Oh, maybe this is going to work, or and maybe in 1 month you see that, oh, there's a better way to do that. So you are observing and you are improving. So this is a cycle that it never ends, right? This is something that you are keeping improving every day, every month, and every time that you are auditing your process. And even if you are if you have an external audit or an internal audit or a cross-function audit, you can repeat, improve, and observe. So that is the main purpose. We have a lot of comments here. Thank you for this this great conversation. We have a lot of comments from Eduardo, but we have also a dynamic that we would like to do with you, which is the giveaway. First of the giveaway, we can I can read some of the comments that Eduardo shared. For example, Eduardo said that, okay, it will depend on the organization's ability to unlearn outdated ways of thinking and doing when determining how to best deploy 5S Lean in a sustainable manner. So unlearning means acknowledging that a mental model no longer works. That's correct. Identifying a new one that does, and embedding it into their way of thinking. So yes, it's a new way of thinking. It's a new way of operate in a new mood, right?
Right, and let me tell you that you know, changing a culture it takes time. It's very difficult. It may take like 2 years really to change to the 5S mindset, but culture is behaviors. It's all the behaviors, the little things that we do every day. So if you, me, Michelle, and everyone here starts making a little change every day, just like you said, you know, the PD say just one little change every day or every week at least, this is gonna be contagious, and everyone's gonna start, you know, seeing something different, start changing, and that's how the culture would change. So culture, again, will not change just by someone telling you, oh, now we have a weak culture, that's it. Or now we do 5S. No, it's gonna change with behaviors. So it starts with you, with me, and with everyone trying to strive for the better.
Yeah, and I will summarize some of the comments from Eduardo. That he said that people's mindset is critical for 5S Lean to work. Without 5S Lean doesn't work and doesn't last. Like painting without a primer. So that's correct. Yeah, it's something that they need to apply in their daily work, and also to buy that this is something that is going to help me to operate in a better way, in a more efficient way. So that will also happen when using a software. said Eduardo. That's correct. We are living this every day with Rever. When someone is operating very in a very easy way with the platform, and they just start testing it and clicking on it, and there are some people that, oh, I don't want to use it and I don't understand it. So this applies for actually every project that you would like to apply in your organization. It's not just for 5S, it's for everything that you would like to change in your organization.
But that's where you can do coaching, right? To coach that person to help them improve, you know, and if you just change one person, maybe everything else will change. Right.
Exactly.
And here Sergio is also saying that, well, Alexandro says that if you cannot implement 5S culture correctly and sustainable, it will be more difficult to implement in any lean tool. And that's totally correct. 5S is the very basic for lean. And if you change the culture through 5S, it will help you implement everything. So yeah, you're totally right. And here Sergio says 5S is the way of living. Yes, I'm gonna say that if you read my book, you'll see that I put examples of everything, you know, not just work, but family, how you can improve, how you communicate with your spouse, how you communicate with your kids. You know, that I have a baby, right? She's 13 months and she's kind of that employee that we need to coach, right? Because it's the employee that is always, you know, messing up. But we need to coach her, right? We need to start repeating the behaviors all the time until she understands how she needs to, you know, do her thing. And of course, we need to adapt too, right? You know, we cannot make her perfect. She's small, but we can start with little things, with little changes, like showing her that she needs to be clean, that, you know, she knows that she needs to, you know, close a cup or close a bottle, you know, things, simple things. That's what we need to work on.
That's great. Yeah, I agree with Sergio. Actually, Sergio, it's great to have you here. I used to work with Sergio in my previous job, and Eduardo, he's moving to another meeting, so we can have this dynamic. So we have here, I think Patty is here, and I saw Leonardo in the beginning, but Leonardo is not here anymore. So we have two winners for this book. We are going to send this book to some people here. The first winner is Patty, because she shared with us previously this webinar, this example. So Patty, I will open your microphone if you would like to share with us this example. That will be awesome. Now you can talk. Can you try it, Patty? Are you there?
Yes, thank you very much. That was a really, really great presentation. I enjoyed it a lot. So
thank you, Patty.
You also for sharing this. Pleasure. And this is a lab that I'm building from the ground up. Wow. So we want to implement the 5, as I say here, 5S from the get-go. So because we want to do things right the first time. So the presentation was very helpful, and I'm sure the book will be very helpful. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of pictures, a lot of examples. And there's, I also, in one of the companies that I implemented 5S, they were also doing the lab from scratch. And it was really helpful for them to have the 5S in mind, so that they know exactly where to put everything, you know, what drawers they need, what kind of things they need, so that they don't waste, you know, time or money on things that they really don't need. So great thing, Patty, that you're already thinking about 5S from now on.
Thank you so much.
Patty,
I'm excited.
Patty, I will reach out to you after this webinar just to know where are we going to send this book. And the second book is for, it's not for Leonardo, because Leonardo is not here. He shared with us these examples, these examples of 5S in the place. But let's talk, I don't know if someone of you would like to raise your hand and you are going to win the second book. Please share with us an example that you are applying about 5S and maybe it's sustainable at this moment. So there's someone, Victor. So Victor, I will let you speak. Now you can talk.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes, yes, Victor.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, I work for Yamamoto Yaman. This company, we produce tea. I'm currently the continuous improvement supervisor, and we are starting to roll this 5S program. One of the things that I start doing is just begin with an audit checklist. And my plan is, to create a 5S board. That's the way that I'm going to call 5S board, which is going to be in a strategic place where we're going to do our Gemba walks and stop there. Pretty much have the layout and who's going to be responsible for the area. Basically what I'm doing right now is just getting all the details, and before I start the training. I don't know if that's the right path I should go, but my plan is to start at the office and then going down to the floor people.
Yes. So there, as everything, there's no rights or wrongs. No, it depends how you do it, Victor. But that's usually how I do it. I start the one-day introductory training in a training room where I see pictures. For example, you can take pictures of some of the locations and show those pictures there, showing examples of, this is an example of not sorting or not storing. This is what you are not doing. And you show those pictures so that they get surprised, right? They don't want to see something bad about them on the screen. But then the next step is to do one implementation where you actually teach the 5S on site, on the floor, where they can actually see how they can sort, store, clean, and make it more tangible, right?
All right. So let me see if I understand correct. So probably my training should be with actual pictures of the floor, whatever I think it should be sorting, with actual pictures of its departments, not taking something else. Am I correct?
Yes, well, you can mix. For instance, what I do usually is put some pictures of how it is right now, right? You just real pictures of your workplace, and then you can show some pictures of how it could be, right? Maybe pictures of that you've seen somewhere else. Again, in the book, you're gonna see tons of pictures, tons of examples, or maybe you've seen this in other groups or in other companies. Or maybe that's something that, maybe not today, maybe you don't have that perfect still, but you can show that later on, right? While you build on this 5S culture, you're going to have pictures of the good things, and maybe you can start showing them in the future training.
Okay, correct. I got it. All right.
Yeah, and actually, I think that is related of the about the practice that you promote, which is select the pilot department.
Yes.
So the pilot department where you can take some picture of the current situation, and then you work on the 5S, and then you can take the after or the ideal situation, and then you can train the future groups based on that.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Yes. That will be perfect, because they are gonna see how, there's a company or there's a group in our company that's already doing this and it's already successful. Because usually they will say, well, we cannot do this. We are trying to do this for many years and they never fixed it. And then you show here, it's been for 5 years and they fixed it thanks to 5S. So 5S has to be a means also to expose problems to management. And a good way to do it is with pictures. But again, the pictures shouldn't be something to stigmatize anyone or any team, but just to say, hey, this is how you can improve.
All right.
Thank you, Victor.
No, thank you. Thank you for the advice.
So, Victor, I will reach out to you also to get your book.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Okay. We're out of time, but I don't know if someone else has another comment, question, something that you'd like to share with us before ending this session with Lou. No. Okay, we have here your the email from Lou. So, and my email, if you would like to reach out directly to her. Actually, Lou is providing this this 5S and lean implementation coaching, the 5S auditing, and also one-on-one coaching for employees at all levels at the company. So if you would like to reach out directly to her, that's great. And we can also help you with Rever platform in the checklist and all the audits that you would like to run. We have that module in Rever. So please reach out to us. We are happy to help you. And thank you so much for being here until this time. We hope to see you in the next one, in the next webinar. And thank you, Lu, so much for this great conversation.
Right. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.